Okay, folks. So today, I thought I'd tackle a small little project, be a fun project that would could be used across the TMT. So that's technology, media, and telecom companies. So my project is going to have both a scan on the ServiceNow portal as well as an HTML page that would be client facing. So it's a small little project that I wanted to tackle today. Now, I've written a sort of a use case here, and my intention is to sort of change the perception of ServiceNow as an IT only tool and more, geared towards being able to go beyond ITSM, right? Just provide different functionality to it. So, what I want to do is just sort of change that perception by creating these two solutions. I'm going to have some actors. Obviously, the first actor, obviously, here is the customer. Then there will be the service agent who is initiating the request. There's going to be some flow designer piece that I'm going to build. The billing system, I'm just going to briefly talk about it. This will be plugged in as a sort of an API that you can tap into from within the flow designer and then sort of and go through the test for the fulfillment team that they will get a notification to actually go through the request. So I'm not going to spend too much time going over the case, but I just want to kind of go over this. I struggle initially trying to get this whole thing set up. So I just don't want to waste a lot of time with it today. So let's just dive right into it. Now, the first thing I wanted to create was the front end setup, sort of the service catalog configuration piece. So I went through this, and I actually have I actually have it under favorites for service catalog. It's already on here, so I could just go right into it. Now, I created the item under service catalog already. I already have the item that I created. I called it an SPL service upgrade request. Again, sticking with the whole suits theme here. Um, I, I created the service catalog, just added some basic information. Obviously, the catalogs will be service catalog, categories of services. And then the key part that we're trying to do here is we want to create the service catalog, but also create the variables. Now, there are going to be three variables that we're going to be creating here. Or excuse me, it will be four variables, I should say, that we created. So the first variable that we tackled was creating a checkbox. And the checkbox essentially it's a confirmation that this person is authorized to make the change to this account. So let me see a use case. Let's say somebody wants to get a different data plan, and they put in the request with the TMT company, and let's say it's a business account, and so somebody wants to know, okay, are you eligible to actually or authorized, excuse me, to make this request? So this is the first piece that we built on this variable. The second variable was more around account information. And for that, we selected a select box here where we actually have, oh, sorry, let me step back here. Actually, the second box we created, or the second variable we created was actually a select box. And this will be the actual plans that's being requested here. We just created some random, speeds that a customer would want. So we have like a 500 Mbps, a 1 GB, and then a 5 GB super fiber speed that they would want. So these are just choices or select boxes that are available to the client when they actually want to make that change. And then the last two variables that we created was a single line variable. This single line variable is essentially just trying to get more information. And this would be more for analytics piece. So we're trying to connect that piece as well. Just trying to get more information, saying, okay, what is the account number that's on here and whatever information that the client wants to provide to us, just to kind of create the analytics component as well. And then the last variable is just more around it's an optional variable, but it's just primary. Just wanted to know what the primary reason is. Again, this could be, something that we can put in for to track for analytics piece. So again, I went through these. I had a really hard time trying to, kind of get these activated and get these connected. But I was able to do it. I was able to get through these four variables, and once I connected the variables, I moved on to the workflow. Again, the workflow is already under my favorites here. So I had the flow designer is what I've used for that. And then I believe you had, yeah, so we go to the flow designer here, and then which would be what we have here, essentially the flow designer. So this one I towards the end that I created, and it's called SPL, which is right there, search provisioning. So this is a little complicated. So I went through the triggers. I was trying to create the triggers, but it wasn't lining up for some reason. The the trigger I had to actually go through create instead of just, and then had to bring in and connect the service request that I had to bring it in. So there was a lot, like I had a hard time trying to connect this. It wasn't as easy as just kind of creating and submitting these triggers. It just the service catalog wouldn't come up. I tried different options. So I went ahead and I created I just, instead of using the trigger, I had to actually go in and create the action first, and then go back and be able to create the trigger. So again, there was a lot of challenges that I had initially, but I was able to actually create the first trigger, and then from there, I just kind of took it down to the actions. These are some of the actions that I had to create. Again, I had to sort of bring this back in here for the SPL to be able to, like, it wasn't not all these data pills were not coming in across. So I actually had to get catalog variables, how to bring them in through the pills, search for the pills, and then actually I was able to actually create. Then I went through and I created these options that that actually these allow me to bring that experience into the workflow. Um, I created some logs, some log information, and I created some catalog tasks that were created from these logs, from these from the workflow as well. Um, it was just a lot of information that was on here, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to show you the actual what it looks like on the using my essentially my PDI instance. If I just want to go and bring this window over here for the PDI. So once I actually created the flows, I try to connect, and this is kind of where I got stuck, where I couldn't do the billing piece. Again, I can't simulate that because I need to be able to plug into an API to get that information across. But I was able to get more of the just the verification piece, and then create the catalog. Let me just move this aside real quick. I was able to create the catalog task to send that request to the teams that will be fulfilling that request. So, I actually have where I use the different pills on here that just kind of give me the description of who will be assigned. You actually process the order, and then an email will be sent if the request requires a manual review. So I got this far, and again, there was, the else option was the one that I couldn't, the subflow here. So I just went this one here, the else one. It just wouldn't, the incident wouldn't come across. And again, I think that's because my PDI is not configured all the way through. It's not configured correctly, but like I said, I was able to manage to at least create the variables and create the catalog item. So this is what it would look like if I were to request this information on here. So if we just do SPL, it should come up. There it is, SPL service request. And here's service request what it look like if I were to do this. And this is very similar, right, to what you have right now when you're requesting something. If you were to do like an internal one, but again, using this sort of process, using these workflows, we should be able to connect, sort of a CSM solution where we're able to connect let's say like a customer website that can be used to, by TMT companies to essentially say, we have this customer, and this customer wants to upgrade their data plans. So it's like a Verizon, for instance, right? They can just, publish that site, and then that site will be connected through some sort of CSM. to ServiceNow. So this is kind of what I had in mind, what I envisioned. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this. So this is one of like a quick, right? This will be like Nova Next, excuse me, will be one of them, and then the customer go in and select which plan that they want and just submit the request, and then it goes out and it will connect to this uh, flow option that we created here, which is this guy. So